All right, so the Bible is actually packed with a lot of principles, if we read through the texts. And I mean, look, the Bible is a big book. Maybe you don't have to read all of it at once, but one of the scriptures or books which are very interesting, very good for you to read, I would definitely say it's one of them is Psalms. And David tells us in Psalms 127, I think it's the first verse or the first two verses, it says that unless the Lord builds the house, they that build it labor in vain. And unless the Lord watches over the city, they that watch it, they are watching it in vain. And so the principle out of this text is just to tell us that if we have any ideas, any projects, any ambitions which we want to, fulfill, which we want to explore, if we don't involve God in it, we're doing it for nothing. That, sort of that's what in vain is. There's no fruit to it. There's no reward to it. But here's the thing which, I want you to realize is that it says, unless the Lord builds the house. So first of all, there is the other side of the coin where you can build the house just without the Lord. So, and we know what the consequences of that are. So if you do build it with God, we know that, He will be the one who establishes the house. He will be the one who watches over the house. A few chapters earlier, David tells us that the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. So here's the big point of revelation here is that when your steps are ordered from God, it's no longer about you. So wherever God says you should go is where you should go, not where you feel like going. You understand? So it should really be about you having that spiritual intelligence, that spiritual discernment to hear the voice of God, not what your flesh wants, not what your mind wants. Remember, the ways that we think is not the way that He thinks. The way that seems right unto man, most of the time it actually leads to destruction. So what we want to do is to let God indeed take the wheel. He is the one who should be ordering our steps. But if we still want to go where we want to go, then is God really in charge? Are we really letting God build, our house? So a simple example that I'll give you in closing is just, imagine that the way that when we leave here, how you're going to go to get home. And you know the shortcuts, and you know where not to turn and what to duck under. You know the route. But if God should say that, take this long way, it may be a longer way, and maybe on this particular day, you're feeling tired, or you're not feeling well, or maybe you don't even have enough petrol to take this particular route which God is, leading you to take. So what do? You take the route which you know is going to be the direct route for you to go home. It's the short route. You want to get home. You want to rest. You didn't have enough petrol. But little did you know that if you took the route which God was leading you to take, there was going to be someone along that route who God wants you to minister to, who God was going to use to minister to you. There would have been promotion along that route. There would have been providence along that route. There would have been favor along that route. All in you showing, that obedience, for Him to order your steps wherever that He wanted you to go. But because you wanted to still direct your life, because you know what you know and you want to go with your ways, you would have missed that divine opportunity, for God to do a miracle in your life. So in closing, it really doesn't matter how much you pray, how much you fast, but if God speaks to you and He directs you in a certain way and you don't go, then stop praying to God for your miracle. Thanks for watching and making it to the end of this video. I'd just like to remind you that we can only push you to the last step, but you have to make the jump. See you in the next video.